Energized show, up the Irish.
Okay, what's going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new episode of Energized. Russ, introduce the guest.
This man has headlined the Three Arena more times than Bono. He is the Shrub Animal. He is James Gallagher. It's the Jimmy Show on the Energized Show. James,
Yes,
how you doing,
that
bud?
was cool, Aldi. That was funny. More times than Bono.
That was actually a good one. That was a good one.
Well, look, it's not far from the truth anyway. James, how are you getting on? How's life in Kansas City?
It's great, man. So it is just back to the grind today. As James always says, you take the weekend, they laugh or cry. You take it, and everything's all good. Maybe you're winning, maybe you're on top, or maybe you're not. Maybe you're on bottom and you're crying. But no matter what, when Monday morning comes, you don't be left there. You know what I mean? So I'm just getting up on a Monday morning, back to the grind, and here we go.
That's it.
James, it's actually incredible to see how you've taken to life over in Kansas City. I know things back home here weren't the best, and you decided to take the move, I think it was in December, to go out there and go head for pastures new. And I don't think Ireland's seen you since. What is the biggest difference in training in Glory MMA versus training in the SBG, the Monster?
It's just also, you know what I mean? John and James are two very different kind of coaches. So they're very different, and two of the best in the whole game, in my opinion. I don't really see that there's I don't think there's many other guys out there with a technical kind of mindset and kind of like numbers. Do you know what I mean? So they're kind of like the guys that you focus on stuff that work 90% of the time, 90%. Do you know what I mean? And you focus on the stuff that works 10% of the time with 10% of your time. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like that. And I noticed out here is kind of James big into drilling. Do you know what I mean? So every day you're going in, you're doing at least, today I'm going to do 2 hours of drilling. So it is, and that's not even including my rounds. Do you know what I mean? That's just repetitions, going over it, and making sure it's beat into your head. Do you know what I mean? And then, that's really the difference. You know what I mean? It's just nice to get a change up, and best to have best of both worlds.
And would that drilling be on striking and on grappling, James?
MMA.
MMA.
So it is. You don't drill for. You know what I mean? We're here to fight MMA, and that's his kind of thing. It's why do jiu-jitsu when you're doing MMA? Do you know what I mean? It's maybe there is jiu-jitsu in MMA, but you know what I mean? Why do kickboxing when you're planning on fighting MMA? It's very like MMA specific. If you want to learn how to fight, then you should fight. Do you know what I mean? If you want to fight a kickboxing match, then train kickboxing. But if you want to train MMA, there's no point leaving aspects out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, James, I saw your interview with MMA Junkie, just on the fight with Kiefer and Brian, and the one thing I noticed straight away was how much you've actually matured in the last since moving abroad. I know Ross mentioned you've been quiet recently, but seeing you in that interview, you almost look like you've like grown into a man. You'd almost say. I put it this way: you're 24.
It's about time, isn't it?
Well, some people might say so. No, but you're basically you've been in the game about 10 years now, and you're still only 24, which is crazy to believe. But you look like you've grown a lot. You yourself, what do you feel you've grown the most in the last 6 months?
Just everything, But as you say, I've had this. I'm 24 now. 11 years ago, I had my first fight, my first amateur fight over 11 years ago. Actually, it's going on August? Yeah, in September, I think it is. I'm not sure of the exact days, but I was 13 years old. So it was when I had my first fight. So it's coming up to 11 years now. So, man, I've been around the block. Do you know what I mean? I've seen it all. Been on the highs, been on the lows. I've seen it all. And right now is I don't really got nothing to lose. And I'm kind of in a position where it's like I'm living my dream. So I don't really got much. I want to be a world champion. Obviously, that's a dream of mine. But I'm just doing what I love every day. And every day is just to get better now. Do you know what I mean? It's to grow. I've headlined the cards, made some nice money. I haven't won a world title yet. You know what I mean? So that's really just the goal, is to improve myself, to grow as a person, to grow my skill set, and just do what I love every day. Do you know what I mean? I'm so grateful to be able to be in a position where I can just train every day and I don't have to do anything else. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of doing all that there just to become a world champion and be the number one in the game someday.
Yeah, James, just to continue on and follow on from that, you're actually such a unique character in the game because you're 24, you've I'm going to say you've headlined 4 shows because that one against Anthony Taylor, I'm going to give you the headline there because I think unfortunately the fans left that when King Mo was walking out. But like you've headlined 4 shows in your hometown. You're only 24. You're like a veteran of the game already. And then within your division, you know what I mean? Like you're the biggest fight in the division. How, like, I know some people might say you have a big ego, but how do you keep that ego in check?
It's just it's kind of like people can say that all they want, and it's kind of like when I walk out in the street arena, I've got my robe on, it's full of diamonds and it's gold, and I got my tricolor and my music's on. I am the man.
That is unreal when that happens, by the way. Like we've been there so many times, and like the whole arena is unbelievable. Like
at that moment, I'm the man. There's no one better than me in this planet when I walk out there. Do you know what I mean? Of course, I've got an ego bigger than me, bigger than the tree arena. Do you know what I mean? Because I've got 10,500 people standing up on their feet, shout me on. You know what I mean? Of course, I'm going to walk out there and thinking I'm the dog's bollocks, because the simple fact I'm the one doing it. I am the dog's bollocks. You know what I mean? So, but then it's kind of like as you take your weekend, they laugh or cry. Usually, I'm laughing. Usually, I'm just doing me thing. You know what I mean? As soon as Monday comes, you're back to it. Do you know what I mean? I'm doing this for growth. I'm not doing this for one singular moment. I'm doing this to become the best version of me, and for people to look back and leave like a legacy behind. And you got to get back on that Monday morning. If your ego gets the better of you on Monday, you're going to fall behind when you are the man in the arena. Do you know what I mean? So it's up to you to catch your ego before it gets too big. But you see, when I walk out in that arena, there's no stopping my ego. I'm going to walk straight up into my opponent's face. Tell him I'm going to fuck him up. And it's my night, because it is my time to shine. Do you know what I mean? No one's going to take that away from me. But come Monday morning, it'll be whipped straight off me, and you'll get a big taste of humble pie as soon as you walk straight back into the gym and working on the next thing.
James, there's a few things that I like seeing when like you're fighting as well. Another thing at the end, obviously, it's the best part when you get up on the cage, but the way you bring your family in as well. That's something that like a lot of people would never be able to do. Like whether it be in any sport, whatever sport it is, but having the whole arena chanting for you, getting your parents involved as well.
Yeah, Mama G's iconic, isn't she?
Yeah.
Don't touch me, ma. You get your head took off you as well, man.
Or even where your dad, I think your dad got a degree as well, and you paraded him as well. Just how proud you are, your family, how proud you are you. It's a great thing for everyone to see as well.
Man, I'm only here because of my parents. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be anywhere if it wasn't for them. They guided me, kept me away from everything. My dad never allowed me to become a big man when I was younger. Wouldn't allow me to get in. If I ever got in trouble, he would have corrected it. Do you know what I mean? If I was fighting on the street, he would have brought me down to the people's. If I'm in the right or wrong, if I was just having a fight in the street, maybe I was defending myself, didn't matter. He brought me straight down to the person's door, shake hands. Do you know what I mean? I'm talking about young fellas at school is fucking 12 or 13. Do you know what I mean? Sticking my chest out and having a few scraps or whatever. And he'd have brought you down with a drag of the neck, shake his hand now, and that's it. Boom, no more. Do you know what I mean? Don't care if you see him or your friends, whatever, that's it, done. Do you know what I mean? So then you just learn to, do you know what I mean? That's how you handle situations. You handle them all head on. Do you know what I mean? And I've been and it's carried through, and the support that they've given me throughout the way. And just now I'm sitting here. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you feel a little selfish. I'm like, oh, I'm all the way over here, and I spend moments with them, and they've done X, Y, and Z. But they're the ones who ring me every day and tell me that they're just so happy to see me in a good place, see me working hard, chasing my dreams, and hopefully someday I might be able to give them something, because they won't ever take anything from me. They don't want none from me. Don't expect anything from me, and just want me to do good. And as long as I get them, my dad's always in my corner when I fight in Dublin, and my mum's always sitting cage side. And as long as I keep doing that and keep making them happy, then this trains keep going.
Yeah, you better believe it. How many doors would you say you and your dad knocked on? Give us a rough estimate.
Oh my God!
Everyone on the estate.
Did you ever have to knock into someone's house twice?
Yeah, a few times. But I did a few times. Usually because it was my fault, never because it was theirs.
Oh, the poor fella. James, go on, Barry.
I was gonna say, James, like another thing is, like, obviously you've been fighting for so long, you're almost a veteran now, like, but like when you were announced to headline the Tree Arena, like, what sort of pressure comes with that? Like, obviously you have to make the way, you have to like also promote the event. Like, there's a lot of pressure, especially being so young. What was that like? And then, like, obviously you've gotten used to it over headlining a few times, but like, does that pressure ever change, or you just get used to it?
Nah, that one was a bit mad because it was coming off a loss. You know what I mean? And it was funny because I remember when I came off the loss and I was kind of like trying to get over it the next day. I had a car, so me and my mum, I just went for a coffee. You know what I mean? I was a bit down and whatever, so I get up, try to get up with good spirits, whatever. Go for a coffee with my mum, and I'm like down. And then one of the Bellator guys ring me. He's like, "Oh, yo, you have to come by the hotel and you have to grab X, Y, and Z or whatever." So I just come up and we see him. We're like, "Oh, what's going on?" He was like, "Well, you do know your fight's got 29 million views in over one night." And I'm like, "What the fuck?" You know what I mean? So I'm just sitting there going, "Well, that's a record." You know what I mean? I got 29 million views in one night in like fucking World Star, one of these sites that it was released on. And it was just like hard to like, you know what I mean? It was a hard pill to swallow or whatever. And then it was kind of, I went off, I got straight back into the gym. And then I was like, nah, I need to take some time. So it is. So I went straight back. I was training for a few weeks, like hard. I was still in shape. And then I just took some time off. So I did for about 3 weeks. I went away with my friends, or having a few drinks and eating loads of food, and just took 3-4 weeks off. Do you know what I mean? Got out of shape again. Do you know what I mean? Not out of shape, but like a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Just let myself go a little bit. And that's exactly what I needed, you know? And I just came back in and regripped. And they're like, "Do you want to be an event in this arena?" I was like, "What?" After, do you know what I mean? After a loss kind of thing. Like, well, opportunity is there. Do you know what I mean?
The Jimmy show one way or the other.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the kind of thing it was. And that's my approach. It was like, well, time to show these motherfuckers what I'm about. You know what I mean? So you can you can pit me down, but you can't keep me there. Do you know what I mean? You can bruise my spirit, but my spirit will never be broken.
I suppose that's one thing that people can't deny about you, James, that win or lose, you know, you show up and, you know, you take it either way on the chin. What's called no bother. You know what I mean? When you took that loss, you took it with such maturity, and then you bounced back from it.
Took it on the chin, literally.
Yeah, man. James, that went so viral. I couldn't actually. I remember watching it as well. I was just like, "Oh my god, man!" Because at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, we're here promoting Irish MMA, and like no matter what, we want everyone to win. And then like when you see something like that, you just knew that the backlash was going to be so big because of how much you promote yourself out there. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, if you don't promote your fights, then people aren't interested. I mean, it's a really, really fine line that everyone has to sort of follow. You have to sell the fights in order to get the big bucks.
Yeah, and the best thing about it, that was fucking, that was what? That's like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I was only 20. It's mad. Like, do you know what I mean? I was only 20 or something at the time. To be 20 years old, to have that, like, and then there was people who I would have looked up to. Do you know what I mean? Like idols of mine in the sport. You know what I mean? Other fighters who were like high up. And they were running me down, like laughing at me and all. I remember just on back to Strabane, and I stayed just into me ma's house. Do you know what I mean? Because after the fight, do you know what I mean? I didn't want to go Dublin or whatever. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just go back into me ma's house. So I went down to me ma's house after a little trip went to New York or whatever for the BMAs, and things were good. And I remember then I got up one morning, I was on my phone, I went on Twitter, was like, such and such a fighter said this, such and such said this, and I was like, oh bollocks, you know what I mean? All these fucking people I look up to and whatever. And I was going to go, that's the mindset that you don't have. Do you know what I mean? I'm not one of those guys. I don't laugh at people's defeats. I look at other people's victories, because not once after that fight did you ever hear anyone going, "Wow, did you see Ricky Bandejas? What a scrap from him. He went out there and starched your man." Yeah. No one said that at all. Everyone just laughed at, fuck him. Do you know what I mean? He got what he deserved. Not once did they ever say anything good about him. And that just shows people's mindsets are always looking for the negative, always looking for that. Instead, I just was like, yeah, you're just negative. I don't care to hear about that. On to the positive. What's next? What's positive? Go back, watch the fight. Not watching my mistakes really, but watching what he did good. But how did he beat me? How did he put me into that position? What he did, be like, wow, that was some kick. Do you know what I mean? That was some right hook that you set that up with after the leg kick. Thought the leg kick was coming, dipped in for a direct right hook over the top. I was like, all that was excellent. You know what I mean? So many good details to be taken from that. Not one of these dumbass fucks even took any of them. And do you know what I mean? Like, mate, you're a fighter. Stop laughing at me. Look at what he's doing good.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
because even after your fights, you actually always go over and you bow as well. And that's the end of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
of course. Help him up off the floor. You know what I mean? That's just how it is.
Bandejas also, like, I think got cut there recently, which I thought was almost a bit harsh, because he took a split decision loss to Juan Archuleta, who's number 2 ranked in the division at the moment, and like it was razor thin as well. Like Ricky Bandejas is no joke one way or the other. Very few people make a fool of him. But just to touch on your fighting style, James, I find your fighting style is so unique because or your opponent knows every time you're looking to strangle them. You're looking to get that rear naked choke. It's inevitable. And I find it very interesting that like they're training their entire camp not to get rear naked choked. And they get rear naked choked. Like,
and so it's crazy. I was speaking to another great lad that I fought, Cal Eleanor. Great jiu-jitsu guy. So there's a lot of respect for him. He's a killer. And it was funny because every day for was it 3 months or something? Every day, 10 till 11 a.m. for 1 hour, he had people on his back. So he did every day. That's what I was saying after. And then I was speaking to him, but man, when I take her back, it's just not, and it's exactly as all. It's just not what it looks like. Do you know what I mean? I just bring a different kind of pressure, and I've got a different kind of outlook for taking the back that very, very few people have. And there's very few people that do it very good in MMA. Do you know what I mean? And I just feel like I've got it figured out. You know what I mean? Once I get it, you're just not getting out of it. Or else if you do, you're dead in the next round. Do you know what I mean? You might survive it, but you're just not getting out of it.
Especially with the arena going bleeding nuts.
Yeah, that's quality, isn't it? Sometimes you have to, you know what I mean? You're on someone's back or whatever, and you just relaxing, you know what I mean? And then you're like, oh, listening to the crowd, just getting your breath back and go, man, I'm going to pop your head off in a minute. Do you know what I mean? And when you grab it, you just hear, oh, everyone going nuts. You're like, oh, almost got it, almost. It's great.
And then another thing I always find that your opponents after they fight you go, oh, he's way better than I thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
They always say it.
But you know why that is? You know what I mean? And this is, people don't want me to be good. I'm never going to be accepted in MMA. Do you know what I mean? Oh, this cocky guy comes out and talk all this shit and all or whatever. And people they just don't want to accept me. They want me to be one of these guys that's going to just come, talk all this shit and fall off. And do you know what I mean? So when they're looking at me, they don't want to admit. And this is the thing. There's so many good fighters out here. And that's so every time I'm fighting with a Cal, I know exactly where he's good at. I know exactly, but you'll never hear them saying I'm good anywhere. He's dirt on there. I'm going to smoke him, goes to the floor if it goes anywhere. They never admit to themselves, actually, he is very good there, but I'm going to beat him on X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to stop him on his tracks, or I'm going to figure this out and do it like that way. They will all just write me off. He's dirt. He's nothing but a loudmouth. He's nothing but that. And I'm going, happy fucking days, mate, because you're just overlooking everything that's coming your way. Do you know what I mean? When I walk up in front of you in the cage and I go, it's just me and you now, let's go, and touch his glove and walk back into my corner, that's when they realize, oh, bollocks, I've just overlooked all this and now I've got a fight with someone who's stone cold. Do you know what I mean? Because that's they'll just look at me and they'll realize that very quick until I grab a hold of you. And then they're going, oh, fuck, this is a whole different ball game now altogether. I wasn't expecting this kind of pressure.
Yeah, you're like super glue on that back, James.
Yeah, man, my strength is just something else. It just doesn't look the way it feels, you know. And that's
but I must say, every time we see you fight, me and Barry always turn to each other and go, oh, he's after filling out that bit more. And then,
or maybe it's Podge. Maybe it's Podge editing them photographs, maybe. But I'm not too sure. Shout out Podge.
It is. I'm working very, very hard out here. Obviously, I'm doing all this all James, but I've got a great strength conditioning coach back home who we work remotely with, Ryan McCluskey from Focus and Enniskillen. So it is. So me and him, and I've got my nutritionist, Tyler Minton, as well. So I'm very, very clued in on all that. And I'm one of the biggest in the weight class, you know, I'm very, very big. So that's why I'm still here, because I'm in a good position now and stuff, but definitely in the future, I can see myself moving up.
Yeah, James, we obviously have you here because Bellator Dublin, we're promoting it. November 5th, you're going to be taking on Patchy Mix. Obviously, nothing has been absolutely, the location has been finally signed, sealed, and delivered because we're still in lockdown here. But November 5th, that's exactly what you're looking towards, yeah?
100%. So it is the Jimmy Show, man. Welcome it back. You know what I mean? Hopefully you get it. I think it's going to go ahead. I've been told by a few doctors and a few people high up in medics back home, and I spoke to a few other people involved in the entertainment industry and stuff, and I think it's going to go ahead. Do you know what I mean? Maybe with a few restrictions or whatever, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, well, this show is called James Gallagher Bellator Dublin Countdown, so it's staying.
Quality.
James, actually, I'm going to call out a few names in the Bellator bantamweight division, and then you tell me what you think of them in one line or less. Leandro Higo.
Phil.
Rafian Stotts.
Great fighter.
Magomed Magomedov.
He's a beast.
Great name as well.
Patchy Mix.
He's another clumpet.
Juan Archuleta.
Juan's the man, so it is. I like Juan, so it is. He's a beast as well.
Yeah.
And Sergio Pettis.
It's okay.
They're the only fighters ranked above you. And I suppose when it comes to Bellator 270 in the 3 Arena on the 5th of November, is this a guaranteed number 1 contender fight?
100%. Well, you can put it like this. I'm the biggest fight in Bellator. Do you know what I mean? For all of those guys. For Sergio to fight me is bigger for him fighting for his belt. You know what I mean? That's fact. The numbers across the board. There's one thing. I lie, you lies, women lie, everyone lies. Numbers don't. Numbers don't. And that's one thing. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just a bigger fight for him, and he knows that it's a dangerous fight for him. So it is. So he's not going to want that fight at all. He's going to try and avoid that, keep that belt for a long time, bounce around, try and fight out, and I don't think he's going to come looking for it. But at the stage I'm at now, when I go out and beat Patchy and the fashion that I do it in, I don't even have to ask for that fight. You know what I mean? It's they can come to me then.
James,
I'm going to go in. I'm going to go in there, smoke him in a fashion that is devastating, and then I'm just going to sit back and go, yeah, see what happens on you. Do you know what I mean?
James, when you're dealing with like this amount of people and this amount of interest into your fights, like who exactly do you go to be like sort of lay out a path? Like, would you go to John? Would you go to James? Would you go to your agency? Would you go to Bellator? Like what? Like who do you really go to?
Usually myself. So I usually do mostly all this stuff, like kind of myself and my plans and stuff. But obviously I speak to John and James, and do you know what I mean? Now James is like my head coach over here, and then obviously I'm working very closely with John and stuff. So I'm surrounded by so many good people, you know what I mean? But I kind of do most of this stuff myself, even like, you know, how I promote myself and what I'm doing and interviews. And I don't get any help with any of this kind of stuff. I don't got any publicists or any of this bollocks, you know what I mean? I just do it all myself and just do what I feel right. At the time, do you know what I mean? Sometimes I might even do any interviews. Some fight weeks ago up and I just don't do them. I don't feel like doing them, but when I feel like doing them, I just do it. Do you know what I mean? Just do what feels right for you, and that's what I do in my whole life. You know what I mean? I just do what feels right for me, and if I want to do it, then I'll do it. If I feel like saying it, then I'll say it. If I don't, I won't. Do you know what I mean? There's no amount of peer pressure could force me into doing something I don't want to do or saying something I don't want to say.
Well, we appreciate you coming on after you saying that as well.
Yeah.
Nah, no problem. I'm glad to be on.
One thing I want to ask you is, I'm going to ask you to play matchmaker now, James. Brian Moore fights in Dublin, November 5th. Who are you putting him in there against?
Juan Archuleta.
That would be a scrap and a half.
Yeah.
I'd be worried for Brian's hands, because Juan Archuleta is hard as hell, and he might break them on him.
Yeah, no. Well, I'll tell you this. I would much rather be Brian getting a broken hand than getting one of Brian's broken hands across my face. I would much rather that.
Yeah. I'd agree with that as well.
I'm sure Brian's hands wouldn't be as sore as the guy's face.
Oh, stop. As Big John calls him, the Irish Canelo.
Yeah, man, Brian's boxing is something else. You just seen last week, it was, man, he's like a little underdog or something. I don't know what it is about him, but people just don't seem to get, and then you just watch his fight and you're going, mate, do you know what I mean? He's just landed about fucking 500 punches in that round. Hasn't been touched once and has countered every shot that was fired at him. It's sensational.
I think he's most underrated of all the Irish MMA fighters.
100%. And
regardless of promotion.
That's a good thing. It's always good to be someone like that because he's a grafter and he pushes forward always. So he will shine.
Yeah. James, can we also ask you just about Kiefer there the other day? Like, it looked like he was let go with Bellator. He left Bellator. Can you sort of like fill us in, or what can you say about that? Because everyone knows if you're coming back to Bellator Dublin and Kiefer's not fighting, it's just sort of like everyone's gonna be like, "Where's Kiefer?" You know?
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. But it's the fight business, you know what I mean? It's a ruthless game, and to see someone, I mean, who is a good friend, and as a teammate and a family and stuff, it's heartbreaking. You know what I mean? It's a big change in direction for his career and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a tough one. Obviously, he's coming off his like two losses.
Well, like one was a doctor stoppage.
Yeah,
a bit rough. And then George Clarian's an absolute vet. Like he's having 175 fights or something. That fella.
I know. And just to see that kind of go down that way, it's like, just all right, give him the Dublin one, give him another big test in Dublin. And do you know what I mean? And that's in my head. It's like, all right, lovely. Well, what they'll do now is they'll give him someone who's really, really good, someone on the come up. Do you know what I mean? All right, now's your make or break. And I didn't feel like they give him that chance. You know what I mean? And it's the fight business, man. It's ruthless, and I'm absolutely gutted for him. But it's just, you know what I mean? He'll keep his head up, and he'll show the type of character that he is, and he'll get back on the horse, and he'll shine through, and he'll get his opportunity wherever he wants to take it. Do you know what I mean? It's now the ball's in his court. Do you know what I mean? So he'll go and create the opportunities that he wants for himself, and I have no doubt in my mind that he'll go and do that.
Yeah, shout out Kiefer and Brian as well. Big fans and friends of the show as well.
Boys, yeah.
James, who else can we look forward to seeing on this Bellator Dublin card? Like, I know obviously Leah's still. I know Bellator let go of a few Irish fighters, but I know yourself be on it. Brian, Liam McCourt, Peter Creedy, Sinead Kavanagh.
I don't know about Brian being on that card. You know, I don't know if Brian's going to be on it. And Liam McCourt's in London.
Okay.
So she announced that she's fighting in London on October 1st.
I was more thinking of what Irish roster they still sort of have.
The Irish roster, yeah.
Charlie Ward.
Charlie's there. Who else is there? Nico, the Italian stallion. He's still there. Sinead Kavanagh. Get her in for that world title.
So Elias Bouland as well.
Elias is still there.
Yeah.
So is. I think he's still there. I'm not really too sure. I've kind of like took myself out of the loop. So I've just been watching my own division and I'm hitting my focus on me.
Yeah.
Do you know
Well,
what I mean?
can I just say this one thing? Because I know someone from Bellator will be watching. Will they please put an Irish fighter on every card and then the whole country be watching every time? Like, just please do that. Won't they?
Well, they have the Virgin Media deal now.
Yeah. I heard they put that on the other week, didn't they, for Keith's fight?
They extended it.
Yeah, so it is. So that's fucking, do you know what I mean? That's great that the Irish media is getting behind everyone, and that's what we need. Do you know what I mean? That's what we deserve.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We deserve that kind of support. We deserve that. We put since I've been a kid, and I can speak for myself, can't really speak for anyone else, but I'm sure that everyone's had the similar kind of past, you know what I'm saying? And I've been just grinding for years with nothing. Do you know what I mean? And the same for most people. Some people I've been lucky that I was young. You know what I mean? But there's people grind right up into their fucking late 20s, early 30s. Do you know what I mean? Look like Pete. Do you know what I mean? Pete's been doing this day in, day out and not been getting a fucking bean for it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just now recently in the last, 3 to 4 years that he's been able to get these big shots and to get that. You know what I mean? And people just don't see that. You know what I mean? They only see you now. But we should be having this years ago. Do you know what I mean? And there'd be so many more stars because at the end of the day, when it kind of just falls off, you know what I mean? Especially teenagers, they're grinding, they're getting going, and they're just getting nothing back. Do you know what I mean? And now with COVID, shows are hard. It's hard to get fights as an amateur. It's hard to get fights as a beginning pro, and that kind of thing. So it's absolutely amazing that these kind of TV channels will get behind us, and we get this kind of support now, and it's starting to get recognized. You know what I mean? We're getting recognized for the athletes that we are.
And well deserved as well. Like MMA is one of the hardest sports in the world. Like to actually dedicate that much time to all these disciplines and then roll them together into one outing and putting your body on the line like that, it's absolutely incredible.
Well, that's why we love covering it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you never know what you're going to get every single time you watch either a UFC or a Bellator card. You're probably going to see something you've never seen before, which is always
there's no two fights the same. That's for sure.
Absolutely not.
James, just touch on Irish MMA scene. Obviously, Conor sponsored the juniors that went over to Bulgaria last week, and then Max Lally came out with gold medal. Shout out Max.
He's a beast. He's a young killer coming up.
Like, what do you think you could have done differently with your career, having those sort of that sort of what's this
those opportunities?
Yeah, opportunities. Excuse me. Yeah. Well, like how differently do you think your career could have went with those opportunities?
Well, you see, for me, it was a lot different because I ruined it for them guys, essentially. So it is. So the reason why they get to go and compete against teenagers is because when I was 13 years old, I was fighting grown ass men in a bar in a cage with pro gloves. Do you know what I mean? So then after a while, when I got up to about 15, John was like, "Mate, this is not happening no more." Do you know what I mean? It's all it's going to get, because I can't get a loss or whatever, and I wasn't bad. You know what I mean? I just got beat, like whatever, and he was like, "This just can't be happening." Do you know what I mean? And as you're a 15-year-old kid going in against grown men, he's on, "No, you're fucking." I was like 8-1 or something crazy. You know what I mean? I was fighting every week. I fought up as high as lightweight. I used to weigh like 65 kilo, fought 70 kilo, no problem against people who are cutting weight. You know what I mean? And I just didn't care. I just wanted to fight. And so it's good that these guys are getting them opportunities now in a good, safe environment. But I wouldn't change a thing for how I've done it. You know what I mean? I've fought in every kind of level. I've fought before it was cool. I did it when it was cool, and now it's just a regular kind of thing. You know what I mean? Everyone's doing it, and I've been through all the stages, and I feel like now it's going to be soon. I'm going to be like number one in the whole game.
Yeah, well, at least you don't have to explain what you do anymore. You know,
yeah, exactly.
Just wear the gloves all the time.
I'm going to do school with a black eye, and all like, what are you doing?
Yeah, just wear the gloves all the time, and no one will ask anything.
The weekend, you want to see me? I was lethal. Caught him on 1-2 and kneed him up the head and put him out. It was cracker. You were thinking you're a big man, black eyes. And I was like, no, not really. I just had a knock at the weekend. It was, you know what I mean? It was just what I do. Do you know what I mean? So we used to get into it at school, but I just fucked that and left then.
I don't know how long into this interview we are now, but I can't believe Barry hasn't asked you, what's the Biebs like?
Who?
Justin Bieber.
The other day, quality. Yeah. I just went. I had a meeting in Beverly Hills with my management, and then Paradigm, and then Conor and Justin were there. They're having breakfast. So we just went down and hung out by the pool for half an hour or so. So we were just talking, whatever. And it was all good.
Yeah, I saw you put an Instagram post up after saying like these two are like I don't quote me word for word, but you're sort of like they overcame like obstacles in their lives, and they're the high achievers. Yeah. Like what would you say, if there is any similarities between Conor and Justin? What would you say it is, apart from being world superstars?
It's just kind of like the mindset of being out there so much that you can't do anything right anymore. Do you know what I mean? Conor can't do anything right, and then Justin was the same for a while. Do you know what I mean? I think it was about 4 years ago. Do you know what I mean? Remember anything? People are like pestering him to do something wrong when he would eventually do it because you pestered him to do it for 20 minutes and he was telling you to go and fuck yourself. Then it's viral. It's like, mate, he should have lifted his hand and clattered you. Never mind, just told you to fuck off. You know what I mean? So stop asking for it when you get it. Act shocked and this is so wrong. You should be conducting yourself this kind of way. Do you know what I mean? And it's different kind of Conor. Conor's a bit more of a fuck you attitude towards it all. But
yeah, that reminds me of Conor. And you remember you got your man's phone smashed on the ground. And
he should have bounced it off his head. Do you know what I mean? It's like you just bounce it on the floor and you're lucky that's not your head, mate. Do you know what I mean? You just can't do that. You can't do that to people. And obviously then it's kind of like you get into a way and it's like, all right, so you can say whatever you want about me, but I can't do what I want about you. Do you know what I mean? You can't lift your hand and touch me because you know I'd fuck you up.
Yeah, James, you've the same issue, obviously on a smaller scale, of people like probably coming over asking for photos, yada yada yada.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? But I just keep my mouth shut, mate, and grin. Just bite my tongue and grin, and just give them a look with my eye, make eye contact, and just let them know that I would kill you in a minute if you tried it. And then usually I don't fight. I haven't fought in years. Try to conduct myself in the best way possible, but there's other people like me. Do you know what I mean? I've got plenty of friends out there, so you talk shit about me, you just better watch your back in case he jumps up behind you. Got nothing to do with me. Do you know what I mean? But that's how it is. You know what I'm saying? But usually it's kind of you get the odd feel, but usually their friends will stop them.
Yeah.
You know
are we going to get the exclusive now? Is Justin Bieber going to be walking you out on the 5th of November in Dublin Street Arena?
I march out the war on my own, mate. March out the war on my own. So I do my flag held high, march straight in there, walk up the Apache and look at him dead in the eye and tell me he's fucking getting it, and walk straight back to my corner and get ready to go. So it is. That's my mindset every time. I'm not. It's a big song and it's a big dance and it's everything until I walk into the cage. You know what I mean? So I like to march in the war by myself.
Yeah, it's a Jimmy show. He's not sharing it.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no offense, Beebs. No offense, Beebs.
You know what they say? There's no show like a Jimmy show.
Exactly, mate. Exactly.
Yeah, there's obviously a few things that happened over the weekend. Kelly Harrington won the gold medal for Ireland, which was absolutely unbelievable.
Amazing.
Carry on, like, you know what I mean, like the whole of town, unbelievable stuff. Did you manage to check that out as well? And like what did you make of that?
I haven't seen the actual fight, but I've just looked online this morning.
Yeah.
I've seen everything. I've been kind of staying offline all weekend and stuff. I haven't been on my phone much, and I've just seen it this morning. That's absolutely amazing, man. To get a fucking Irish Olympic champion again and bring that gold home. You know what I mean? I heard she's a good friend of Kiefer's. They've trained together and they live around the same area. I don't know her personally myself, so I don't. But it's absolutely inspiring to see someone like that. And she's tried for Olympics a few times, right? Is that correct?
I think she tried last time out, and she's 31. But I think she did well in the World. I think she got a silver at the World last time out as well.
Nice.
So,
you know what I mean? And just to see that grind, to see that hard work shine, and man, it's nothing short of inspiring. And hopefully I can do something similar for the country someday, the same way she did it.
Yeah, hopefully I'd love to see her go pro and like maybe get a few big money fights in there, a la Katie Taylor style. And you know, make some serious bread for all those punches to the head she's after taking.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? As they say, life is like a sandwich, mate. No matter what way you flip it, the bread comes first.
I've never heard that one before, but am I wrong?
Yeah. Another thing, James, one of your good mates, Artem, obviously retired last week as well. Like, what a career he's had. Like,
mate, Artem's the man. So
when's his movie coming out?
Yeah, man, that's gonna be some movie. So it is. And do you know the thing? I remember when we were in Vegas years ago. I think I was only about 17 at the time. I remember one of the mornings we're getting out and having a stretch and getting into the hot tub. But everyone was in bed, so it was just me and Artem. And man, I started like speaking. We were just talking about different things. Do you know Artem's like a borderline genius? So he can speak like 4 different languages. Got like so many different degrees. Like. He's he's something else. Do you know what I mean? Like, not only can he go out there and have a fight like someone, like I don't know what, but he's actually like so smart. It's crazy. And to go and have a career like that and do it the way he's doing it, man, Artem's only short of a legend.
What would you say? What would you say your favorite moment of Artem was? Yeah,
it had to be the Ultimate Fighter.
Hold on. Are you saying with the shake the chin or something? Is it?
No, just the whole just watching him. Do you know what I mean? That series of fights, the way he fucking. Oh yeah, I know the clip you're on about.
You get double the tips or something, shaking the chin.
Shaking the chin.
You have to know, Ross. You know what I'm talking about, no?
Yeah, you're right favorite.
Yeah, right favorite.
Yeah.
That was funny. That was funny.
I think he got GOAT status after that. Like,
yeah, he definitely did, man. He's deserves nothing short of that. You know what I mean? But to be put out in the first and then they come back and not be touched, just bink, cleaning people out,
keeping it flowy,
keeping it flowy. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you one thing: his opponents weren't too flowy after you clipped him a right hand on the chin.
No, they weren't.
As a board.
No, there were, and there's another man whose record doesn't reflect the skill level as well. Because if you think about it, I think before he retired, he was thinking of going down to 135, and like I think he fought.
His last fight was 135.
Yeah, exactly. So like, and I think he probably fought up as high as middleweight. He has some like random names on his record.
Welterweight was his highest. So
he'd show up anytime and he'd fight any man. No bother to him. He was an animal.
Everyone says that. You know what I mean? It's a fighter's thing. I'll show up anywhere, anytime. There is absolutely no one on this planet that will show up anywhere and anytime, but Artem Lobov. So it is.
just also this week we want to give a shout. We want to give a shout out. Cage Conflict is on this Thursday, and also Bellator 264 is on this week as well.
Nice. That's up in Belfast, isn't it?
Yeah. Like one event was over the weekend as well. Mikey Conlon winning at the Fela, and then Tara McKenna, Lee McGregor.
Yeah, there was a few good fights that night. Sean McComb as well.
Yeah.
So he was fighting as well. Yeah, it's good to see all them boys killed, man. It's fucking nothing short of inspiring. You know what I mean?
In a packed arena, James, as well.
Yeah. So it is. That's it. Bellator need to go that route. Yeah. Imagine they come to Strabane, do an open air show in Strabane or in the surrounding areas. Do you know what I mean?
Crow Park would suit us better.
On the grass. Got Coparock on the grass.
So it is. They're big, massive Gaelic grounds in Oma and all that. Do you know what I mean? They hold about 15,000, 20,000. Do you know what I mean? I would sell out that no problem, mate. Put on a show, bring a world title back to County Tyrone. Do you know what I mean? That would be an absolute dream. That's something Bellator need to start looking at. And do you know what I mean? I would love to be able to march out the war, carry my flag out, and pick up a world title in my own area. Do you know what I mean? It's always nice doing it in Dublin in the Three Arena. It's the iconic Three Arena. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
I'd love to venture off and get something going myself. Do you know what I mean? Give me my own show someday. Let put me on the line. Do you know what I mean? See what I can do. Do you know what I mean? Put more pressure on me. Give me a title shot. Give me the own show. Open air stadium. Do you know what I mean? Bring fucking those people, put the roof over the cage the same way they do it in the boxing. Do you know what I mean? And it works great, and I feel like they could do something like that, and I would love to be the man in charge of doing it.
Yeah. You know what, James? If they did that, it'd be one of those things where in 50 years' time, everyone would say they were there, regardless if they were there or not.
Exactly,
what, like UFC Dublin?
exactly.
Like?
Yeah, everyone was like UFC Dublin. There was 50. There was 100.
I was the ref. I was the ref.
Yeah, everyone's been at UFC Dublin. Everyone.
James, I'll just ask you this question as well before we wrap things up, because we'll be here for ages. And next time we should definitely do it together in the build up to Bellator Dublin. But obviously during the Olympics there, like there was a lot of talk brought up about mental health and stuff. And like Simone Giles? If I didn't butcher her name. And then Naomi Osaka as well pulled out of the tennis. I know you brought up briefly talking about mental health and how it affected you, or how minimal or maximum it affected you. But is there anything about how like mental health and how you've probably grown from it in the last while?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Do you know what I mean? It's just something that you go through growing up. Do you know what I mean? As well, and it hits you when, you know what I mean? It's not really, I don't really have mental health or anything like that. I wouldn't say it's, you know what I mean? I got down before and I had a few things going on, but it was just one of them things, and it's a very like hard subject to like speak about, because everyone's different. Do you know what I mean? And people deal with things in different ways or whatever. But the one thing that I will say is like that anyone you can't be like embarrassed about this kind of thing. It's not a sign of weakness. And you're not less. I know for some men it's like, oh, I'm less of a man if it be like that. And it's like, nah, mate, you're not at all. You see that gobshite at the weekend who goes out to the bar and spend all his man's money and is trying to act like he's the gangster this and blowing all his man's money and come back and they're pussies. Do you know what I mean? Who's trying to act the big man, who's trying to make you feel down about yourself. They're the pussies. If you be true to yourself and speak how you feel and just be you, do you know what I mean? And so then there's nothing wrong with that, and people only respect you for doing that. So I've definitely advised these people to talk about it, come out about it, and be you. Do you know what I mean? Be the true you. Don't try and hide things. Don't try and pull things back. And it's kind of real that I go, if I can go to bed tonight and sleep well tonight, do you know what I mean? As I open my eyes going, oh, bollocks, you know what I mean? Someone comes through my door. Do you know what I mean? They'd have a big set of balls if they tried it, but but if I can go to bed at night and not thinking that, then it's a good day. You know what I mean? And just don't take one day as it comes. Live every day like it's your last, and do what you love. Do you know what I mean? I face criticism every day. People don't accept me for who I am. They're always trying to compare me. They always say you're not being yourself. And I'm like, well, mate, I've been like this been in the public eye now for the last probably 8 years. I was the same back then as I am now. You know what I mean? I speak the same then as I speak now. Nothing's changed, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like people are always going to find stuff not to like, and as long as you like yourself and as long as you're happy with what you're doing, who gives one fuck? Do you know what I mean? Who gives a bollocks?
Basmo, there you have it. Some wise words from the main man. Some people love him, some people want to be him, but you better make sure you're watching him. It's the Jimmy Show.
Yes, mate.
James, hopefully you enjoyed this as much as we did, and the people tuning in as well. Next time we're gonna have to do this face to face when things open up, and you know what I mean? Like
November in Dublin.
Yeah, November 5th. Here, you'll take my job. Yeah, November 5th. James Gallagher versus Patchy Mix Bellator Dublin. James, is there anything you want to say to is there anyone you want to give a shout out to, or is there anyone you want to say anything to before we wrap things up?
Yeah, myself, for believing in myself and working hard every day and getting to where I want to be.
And don't forget Mama G and Papa G.
Yeah. No, I just want to say it's big thanks to my parents as always for supporting me. I would never be here if it wasn't for them. To my coaches, my whole team. I've got James Croyce here in Kansas City, all the guys here at Glory, John Kavanagh, all the guys back home in SVG. And yeah, just everyone who helps me, you boys for coming on, taking the time and interviewing me and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I'm just happy doing my thing, you know what I mean? Keeping my head down, keeping focused. And I feel like it's only the beginning. It's the beginning of something big. Something really big is going to happen soon. And I'm looking forward to it. I just feel it in the air every day and just getting real tuned into myself. And I'm going to shine very soon. And it's going to be soon that I'm going to be number one in the world.
There we have it, Basmo. For anyone who is watching this show at home, make sure to give it a like, make sure to give it a share, leave a comment below.
Yes.
And as always,
Stay energized.
Energized show, up the Irish. Been sussing you guys a couple of times. I've seen a couple of clips. I think you've done some interviews with Dylan Moran and that I saw. So keep going, keep up the good work, guys.